Members, the House and Committee resumes its consideration of the Juries, Jury Service and Protection of Particulars of Jury List Information Amendment Bill. Members, before the dinner break we were debating Part 1. The Honourable Trevor Mallard had the call. He's got just over a minute remaining. Should he wish to avail himself of that opportunity? If not, I shall put the question. Oh, you can take call. Chris Hipkins.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Very pleased to take a call on the Jury Service and Protection of Particulars of Jury List Information Amendment Bill. And I'm sure that my colleagues Charles Chauvel, Leanne Dalzell, David Clark and Clayton Cosgrove are on their way to the House momentarily and will be here any moment now. Very keen as they are, I know, to take their calls on this particular piece of legislation. Mr. Chair, I'm very interested that there is no regulatory impact analysis and regulatory impact statement on this bill, because the proposals set out are expected to have no or minor impacts on businesses, individuals and not-for-profit entities. I'm somewhat surprised by that, and I would like to hear further from the Minister as to exactly why there has been no statement set out. No regulatory impact statement set out. That is not particularly good practice from the government, and I'm sure that we'll hear more from the Minister. According to the Cabinet papers, last year there was an incident where a self-represented accused corresponded with persons whose names and addresses were on the jury panel for his trial. This raised concern about the safety of jurors, and it was decided to amend the Juries Act to restrict access to jurors' address details. And this is an example. This bill is an example of how I think the government take a somewhat reactionary approach to dealing with privacy issues, rather than something that is more systematic. And of course, it's interesting that the Minister in charge of this bill, the Honourable Judith Collins, Minister of Justice, not known necessarily for her stellar track record when it comes to privacy issues, and I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely. It's insulting. Goodness me, it speaks. But I am interested to see that she is in charge of this particular piece of legislation, given that her track record on privacy issues is not particularly flash. Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, the Labour Party will be supporting this bill because we do think that it is appropriate that the extra protections this bill puts in place are passed into law. Defence attorneys and advisers to defendants representing themselves will not be allowed to show addresses to defendants, and I think that's something that we will...
Point of order, Jackie Dean.
Well, Mr. Chair, this is part 1 of the bill, and that member is straying into part 2 of the bill.
Well, I hadn't had enough time to see where he was going to be going, but... Shall we just say we are on part 1, Mr. Hipkins?
Absolutely, no problem, Mr. Chair, but this is, of course, the introductory part of the debate, and I've been listening in on the debate and back in my office. It's been a relatively wide-ranging debate so far, and I certainly look forward to hearing that member's contribution to the debate. I'm sure when the big hand hits 12 and the little hand hits 8, maybe she might finally rouse herself into action and decide to make a contribution to this debate that's a little bit more useful than the one that she just contributed. So now that my colleagues, who I'm sure are very keen to get into this debate, some more have arrived, I'll just conclude my comments by saying that overall I think there are some useful provisions in this bill. I'm looking forward to hearing what colleagues around the House have to say on the debate. Looking forward to seeing how it unfolds. I'm sure I'll have more to say as we go through it.
Ian McKelvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.